Hi, how's everybody doing today? This is Rich here on behalf of Rich TV Live, and I'm here with a very special guest, the CEO of Halo Labs, Kiran Sidhu. How you doing today, Kiran?
I'm doing well. How are you, Rich?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for
Great.
joining us again on Rich TV Live. I know that you are in Toronto right now. Is that correct?
Correct. I'm in Toronto for MJBiz.
Great.
Tomorrow, I have a one-on-one session with a host to talk about Africa for a while.
And let's that goes into the first question I have. I saw your press release about the business you're doing in Africa. Why don't we talk about that first?
Okay, great. So what we wanted to do was provide everyone with an update on our Bophelo acquisition and what's going on down there. So at Bophelo, we're planning to sign all the agreements this month, and we should have it closed probably within 30 days after signing the agreements. So we're looking to assume ownership probably sometime in October, November timeframe. We are right now there are a few things going on down there. The first thing is a big sort of what we call cloning operation, old school, where we're putting the plants in the pots and the pots are growing into babies, and then we pick out the mothers.
Great.
And we got about, I think, about 1,000 plants in pots right now.
Wow.
That's going on in hoop houses. And at the same time, we're leveling our land, getting it all, trenched and done for our greenhouses, so we can put up to 5 hectares of greenhouses. And we're just finalizing a deal to get those greenhouses in there.
Great.
And they'll be in there in time for the summer season, which starts in November. And then we should have a crop, our first African crop come April, and that'll be amazing. At the
That's
same
great.
time, we've hired some CGMP consultants to come on in and help us make sure we do everything under CGMP.
That's great. Now, why the focus on Africa is it's not been a name I've heard too much about from other LPs, which I
Right.
think is unique for you guys, which I like. Is there
Right.
a specific
It's kind
reason?
of unique for us, but actually in Lesotho, which is called the Mountain Kingdom, it's in the middle of South Africa, and it actually supplies South Africa with a lot of its water.
Oh wow.
We're at 1,000 meters, and we're in the flatlands, but it has the highest high and the lowest low out of any country, is what the deputy prime minister told me, which is kind of interesting. So it's a lot like Switzerland, where it goes from low to high. And as people who are familiar with growing know that, the higher you go, the more UVB light you get. That's why the Emerald Triangle is so key, because people grow on the sides of mountains and everything.
Wow.
And culturally, Lesotho, is a country where cannabis is part of their culture. So,
Wow.
for instance, when you see a beautiful young lady, they call her a cannabis seed. Wow, check it out, she's a cannabis seed, sort of.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the other thing he told me is that in dowry, which is in reverse there, where the men have to give dowry to a bride, you can give cannabis as a dowry.
That is
So
fantastic.
culturally, and so Lesotho, actually, there are a few of us there. The pioneers was really Supreme. Supreme really were the pioneers, and they invested, I believe, 10 million Canadian for 10% of Medigrow, which is the first one. Bedrocan out of Holland is there. They're blasting a side of a mountain and putting up a large indoor facility.
Wow.
And Afria, I believe, is there as well. And I know Canopy is there, where they acquired their partner as well. And so it's a really great growing environment, a lot of sunshine, a lot of water, good soil, and a very stable monarchy, right? Constitutional monarchy. And it's a culture where the people know all about cannabis. So it's not like you're going to some place and teaching people something they don't already know about.
That sounds great. I'm really excited to see how the results are once you guys actually get all those seeds growing to fruition.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. A couple of people, it was kind of funny. A couple of people had me post on WhatsApp actually some pictures of it all going down, because they're like, all right, I want to see it to believe it. And so I had them shoot some pictures of them watering the plants and everything. It was it's all old school. It's not like these automated facilities you see up in Canada. But it's a great place too, because remember, we are initially doing up to 5 hectares of forced air greenhouses, or they're not glass greenhouses per se. They're plastic reinforced, but they're permanent structures. They're not hoop houses either. And then we want to go outdoors up to 200 hectares, which is 454 acres.
Wow.
Outdoors. And yeah, in our whole concept there, which I put in the press release, is to grow strains like ACDC and Harlequin that are heavy both in CBD and THC, because in Lesotho we can extract both CBD and THC in the same lab, and off the CBD strip off the THC for export, and from the THC strip off the CBD. And the UN treaty allows for us to do that, provided that the country we're in allows us to do that. And Lesotho is the only country that I know of, not saying there are others, that allows you to do that.
Wow. Now, there's also some news that you guys just posted about the MJBizCon Conference International Center at Toronto Metro Convention Center, South Building, tomorrow, room 714 at 11 a.m. Eastern, where you will be a guest speaker.
Correct. And I'll be talking about Lesotho and our experiences there. I'll also be talking about the legislation and the lay of the land, a lot of what I just went over with you, and answering questions about the African experience. I'll tell you one thing that's interesting about it. I've been getting up a lot more at 6 and 5 a.m. to speak with them. They're my first call of the day, typically, before I even have my coffee or tea in the morning, depending on where I am.
Let me ask you a question. So the markets have done really well over the last few days here to start September.
Right.
I've been predicting that this would happen. It's happened historically year over year, where we have these collapses in the summer, and then in the fall we have a huge resurrection. Is there a catalyst that you believe is creating this? Is it just a seasonal thing that this keeps happening in the cannabis sector? Is it because everyone's back to work after summertime, maybe where people are on vacation and market makers are back at their trading desks? What do you think it is?
Well, I think this year we had there's always this sort of, I was many years ago, and I went to college in 85, graduated from Wharton in 87. So in about 90 to 90, somewhere between 91 and 94, I worked on Wall Street at Merrill Lynch in M&A. And there was always a saying, sell on Memorial Day, buy on Labor Day, right? And we, at least our stock, is really dependent on retail investors, because not many institutions can buy our stock. Right now, we're doing something, in the U.S. on the OTCQX. Right now, we're, doing blue sky and all this other stuff to generate some U.S. interest. But yeah, so that's been part of it. And also, this summer was really strange because there was, the inverted yield curve, the China-U.S. situation, and the Persian Gulf situation, not to mention, some of the larger names not performing as people thought they would. So the low was lower, and yeah, we're starting to see stuff stabilize, but we're not starting to see a big uptick yet. But I think probably that'll, hopefully that'll come in the next couple of weeks, right?
Well, I mean, today we've had Canopy Growth having a really big day today. So they're up around 7% today. So I think, that really helps the sector when Canopy goes up 7%. Acreage was up over 10%. Suniva, after getting crushed, they were up 30% today, 30%, 25% yesterday.
Do they have good news?
No, this is all on no news. This is what I mean. Like literally everything is up today. Organogram, I believe, was up over 9%. Hexo was up over 6%. All the major players like Afria's in the green. Aurora Cannabis is in the green today. A lot of the bigger players are in the green today. So this is a very good sign. Chronos Group, I think, was up over 5 or 6% today. So overall, we're seeing a lot of green in the sector again, which is very healthy. Halo Labs is still at a very good price point. And, you guys have been moving forward on achieving all of your goals and hitting all your targets. Is there anything else that you guys are working on? I know that I was joking. I was like, maybe Kiran will tell us that he's talking to Bruce Linton, because Bruce Linton is going to be announcing a few American partners, right? So
Right.
I was joking, maybe Kiran's working with Bruce Linton. So is there any big news or anything coming that we can talk about or discuss for Halo Labs in the future?
There's nothing really that we can talk about or discuss now. One thing I want to emphasize is that we're really, focused right now in California. And
Great.
one thing I put out when we made the minority investment up in Mendocino and Ukiah is that, this is just the first part of the Northern California strategy. So we're really focused in on Northern California and what we're doing there.
Great.
And we're focused in California in general, because that's the market, that's the largest market in the world. And that's where I spend, when I'm not here in Toronto speaking at MJBiz, that's where I spend most of my time, up and down the state.
Well, you know what? You're in the right place if you're in California, because like you said, they're the largest market in America, one of the largest markets for cannabis in the world. And we're starting to see some really big revenues being reported by LPs. We're actually starting to see profits.
Right.
So this is a good sign for the sector as well. And I was telling this to people, like, even though the markets were down the last couple months, I was starting to see signs of progress, because we're starting to see profit now. Where we didn't see profits for years, we are starting to see literally company after company show profit. And does that not put a little pressure on the companies to show profit when they see everyone else is doing it?
Well, I think the fact that fundraising is scarce is forcing all of us to start acting as, normal companies.
Yes.
So, we try to, like, for instance, in Oregon, we took up shatter prices from an average of about $4 to $5,
Wow.
which curtails our revenue a little bit, even though we've had good revenue in Oregon, but it increases our gross margin. So it's these sorts of moves that you would do when you're not revenue focused, right?
Absolutely.
The whole idea is to, have quality revenue that drives gross margin, and then to reduce your overheads and be a little bit more cautious than you were before. And I think
100%.
That's a prevalent trend in the entire industry.
Absolutely. I have a question from the community, from Anthony Rice. How you doing, Anthony? He says, will Halo Labs be coming to Sacramento?
We'll probably be, we won't be coming to, we'll be coming to Sacramento through dispensaries, right?
Great.
And through white label products with our partners. So yes, definitely our products will be distributed in Sacramento.
Fantastic.
Right now, we're sort of close with a chain called Queen of Dragons, but now with our whole deal with CANNABIS and putting, having their rails, which go all over the state as our distributor, that is going to enable us to get into dispensaries with our Guilt brand and our Hush brand in Sacramento.
That's great. And if there's any investors that want to get in contact with you, or if there's any companies that are interested in doing joint ventures or doing partners, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you, Kiran?
The best way is ir@halocanna.com.
That's great. Well, you know what? Is there anything else you want to share with the community?
No. This was a great interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And anybody that's in Toronto, go and see Kiran Sidhu. He will be speaking tomorrow at 11:10. What is it? 11:10 at the MJBizCon International Conference at the Toronto Metro Convention Center, South Building, room 714 at 11:10 Eastern Time. I wish you the best of luck. Continue on all of your success, and let's do this again soon.
All right. Thanks, Rich. Take care.
Thank you, Kiran. Have a great day.
Bye.